transitioning from thinking to feeling. And the aim, I think, is to get to the point where your mind is no longer operating. And so what's the point of no-mindedness? When you're in your mind, you're always thinking. Even when you think you're free of the mind, you're not. But you can get to the place where the touch of mind in your experience is anathema. You reject the feeling of the mind or the expression of the mind or the thinking of the mind. And instead, always retreat to immersion in your own self, which means your body experiences, well as your experiences as consciousness itself. Just think, there is this miracle called consciousness in you. It's a kind of power that came to you as part of the package of who you are, to be able to be self-conscious instead of worldly conscious. Everything about the West tended to be worldly conscious. And I guess we're taught that in schools too, to be aware of the environment and how the world operates. We didn't have that kind of concentration when it came to things spiritual or psychological. Those were unspoken and therefore taken as givens. So what is it that in spirituality we're trying to attain or attain? And I think it's best summarizing by claiming it's total peace. And total rest in your own self. But you have to turn the term self out, because you never do find a self. The closest you come is when you can slow the thinking down till it almost stops, and then drop down your consciousness into the totality of your body. And then you noticed from there, that's really the beginning of your search. Because you're now exploring everything that has to do with feeling and looking, while looking within. And mostly when we're looking within, for the first while, we have a constant set of daydreams going on, which we have to penetrate and get to the place of complete rest or emptiness. where you want nothing, you desire nothing, you chase nothing, you try to achieve nothing. And you call this nothingness, but it's certainly not nothingness. It's everythingness. Here's where you have to learn to sidestep thinking, because thinking creates tangible models of you and the world, and they're not true. One can always investigate one's own self and find countless states that you would consider origin states or basic states. But it all goes back to being in yourself and your own experience without the mind being visible or aware of. Your mind is inactive. What is active is an awareness of yourself and your mind and your body and your aliveness, and trying to make some sort of sense of that. But making sense of it is an intellectual pursuit. And that's what teachers have been trying to do for years, is to put the infinite into the bottle of concepts. But I use concepts to try to break concepts. Forget about what you understand about yourself and the world. That's all of a kind of a conventional point of view that we have as Westerners or as Americans or Europeans. And instead, go deeper inside until you're no longer aware of the mind, and experience the world from that data point, so to speak. And what's so good or advanced or spiritual about that? Strange thing is, when you do that, you get happier and happier. Your body and mind come to full stop rest. And you feel the burning of the life force within you. And also, you begin to explore the world of consciousness itself. As you go deeper inside, you go down into darkness, which becomes lighted by your awareness of it. And you find out there's less and less with form within with which to look, find. It's just that looking and finding are very limited, but the looking is infinite. There are no boundaries. I don't know whether you follow this, but it's speaking from a place where you've escaped your mind. And therefore, anything to do with the mind seems like it'll just take you back to being who you were before. When you searched as much as you can inside yourself and searched as much as you can in books about spirituality, in the end, there's nothing but you and your own sense of presence. The constant video feed you get about the world, or when you look within, the fantasies that you see. But getting rid of thinking and falling into feeling is kind of hard to do for Westerners who are basically thinkers. And when a feeler comes into your presence, it makes an impression. The feeler says, there's nowhere to go, nothing to see, nothing to understand. Just be yourself. And what does that mean? It means you stop trying to understand and going deeper into the mind of understanding, and instead sink into your own body, feeling the tension around your neck and your back and your chest and your stomach, and trying to relax that tension so that you can get to the peace underneath the tension. So you become a peace seeker. You see that there's a way to peace, and that's to leave the world behind and just go into yourself and feel yourself. Feel yourself. But there is no self. You won't find a self. You could say that which is looking and searching is the self, but it's not. It's part of the mind. So to be yourself, I guess, in a sense, means experience the world from a position where you're in silence of the mind and instead immersed in the experience of your body and the world, but especially your body. We have to become grounded in the experience of our bodies. And in spirituality, supposedly, we're trying to transcend the body. But the thing is, most of us have already transcended the body in Western life, and we're living in the mind instead. When you have an hour by yourself, what do you do? Are you just relaxing into yourself and feeling what your body feels and what your mind feels and all of that? Or else are you running a stream of thoughts through you that's commenting on what you're watching? The key, though, is to try to be without mind when you're experiencing yourself. Don't interject a looker into the looking, a feeler into the feeling, and just be nothing, be nothing. Just submerge your consciousness into yourself, into your body, and into your sense of presence. And as you do that, you find out like there are infinite levels of your own presence. And the more you look downward into it, the more endless it becomes. So just stop, sit in silence, and wait for what comes up. Try to live in silence. It's really hard to get training in doing that if you're doing it yourself. But when you're in a retreat or a session, there's nothing for you to do except be aware. Everything is taken care of for you. All the planning, all the instructions, all the bells and clocks are there. And what's missing is kind of incessant, constant communication between people as they rub shoulders with each other. It's really hard to remain silent when you're in a crowd of people who are all talking. You feel almost attacked by the cacophony of words and concepts that people are living by. And try to escape them as much as you can. You still fall prey to the words of the mind, our minds. Your mind is not you. You're much bigger than the mind. So don't be restricted to the mind, your mind. Learn to sit without thoughts arising, without the observation and mental processes of examining something, and instead just fucking relax. Let go of all that knowledge and knowing and searching for yourself and searching for truth. It's for children and adolescents. Grown-ups, though, know that when you immerse yourself in yourself, you're not going to find other worlds, the heaven, astral worlds. These are all mental creations and not what we experience when the mind is turned off. But if you sit quietly and you do it in a group situation, the kind of peace that you feel has a sense of being very welcoming. You're very open to experience. But it teaches you nothing. There's nothing you can say about it without ruining it. It can't, your experience can't be captured in words. Words are far too limiting to the kind of nuance that you yourself are capable of creating in the absence of words. But you won't note it like you do with words. Your inner self is, you might say, infinite, can contain an infinity of understanding and ideas and feelings and experiences. But none of it is ever fixed. You don't put it into a system and try to understand things. It's a kind of surrender you do. You know it's an intelligent universe. But because you lack the intelligence, you just say, hey, fuck it. It's out of my hands. Somebody's taking care of it. God or the world spirit or whatever. I don't have to do anything. It's sick people like I was who wanted to understand everything. I was a seeker of understanding, not of living. But a person who is obsessed with living instead of understanding can gain everything. Just sink into your body now. Close your eyes and sink within. What do you feel like now? What are you aware of? I'm aware of vast darkness inside. I'm aware of a sense of aliveness. I'm aware of a sense of presence, of being here and being now alive. I'm aware of the darkness within and also the sense of space that one feels when looking within. I'm aware of the looker. I'm aware, very, very aware of my body and what the body feels like within. I see the universal sense of darkness, of feeling, absent light. I descend into my body, first towards my heart, when I can feel my shoulders and chest and upper back relaxing. And then I descend further into my abdomen. And then I can become aware of the universal space around. It's filled with darkness and also with the light of my mind, lighting it up with images, words, concepts. I may be aware by wanting to just quit all of this and just be. I don't want to look. I don't want to understand. I just want to be in peace. So, the less busy you are with your mind, the deeper you can go into the totality of yourself. That's mostly in darkness for the average man and for the average spiritual man, too. But the darkness is only one small part of your experience of yourself. There's a sense of being alive. There's a sense of being present. There's a sense of my body, but I'm not aware of it really. I feel it, though, the extension of consciousness within. And how just being in this sitting position, I'm aware of the most fundamental parts of my beingness, which is aware of the inner spheres of depth, of innerness that complements all the years of looking out and being in the world. Except when we're a normal person, we just do things, usually out of habit or necessity. We live a life of monotony, repetition, going to work, and becoming part of a machine of whatever operation you're involved in, whether it's being a city planner or a welder. But when we just rest and look into ourselves, we do it often enough, We're aware of an incredible peace inside. And we're aware of the energy and power of our own awareness of our bodies. There's a sense of energy or power that's ignited when we look within. That feels so much bigger than our human life. This is the power of the emptiness within. When it's not filled with concepts about who and what we are, and instead is at rest with yourself as you are, because you've spent a lot of time becoming aware of yourself, aware of your mind, aware of your thoughts, aware of your emotions, aware of the tactile nature of your body. Aware of your own ability to just relax into yourself. And feeling every step of the way that you're getting nearer and nearer to your true depths. Everyday life is lived in a video show with characters, situations, work, conflict, peace, doing the body functions. The examined life is different, though. It consists of just resting within, learning how to fall back into yourself, into your body. Maybe somewhere along the way you realize that the words self and body mean nothing. They're artificial words to create concepts that supposedly explain our inner states, but have nothing to do with our inner states. They're just words. And words can't capture what we're really like on the inside. But if we live in our minds, it's what we seek. It's words, not direct experience of who and what we are. When you know who and what you are on a silent basis, in a sense, you're out of the world. You're out of the world of everyday humanity. Everyday humanity may not appeal to you after that, and you may not appeal to anybody in the everyday world after that. There's a separation that occurs. As long as you live in the artificial, natural world of everyday life, of the everyday person, You have the usual ups and downs of being a human. But if you rest in silence, and you can rest in the darkness of the vastness of your inner self, you obtain such utter peace and rest from restlessness. And you can just be. "40 minutes of bullshit have just passed. I didn't know I could put so many ideas in such a short period of time to take you away from your own experience of yourself and to experience the truth of what I'm saying. So just rest in yourself. Turn your attention inwards into your inner experiences. Feel your own vision without your eyes being open. Look inside for the extensiveness of your field of vision within and how that overlaps with the spheres of just feeling and the feelings of energy fields within you. And when you get into spirituality, you'll inevitably come across an area where you feel increasing mastery of your inner world. And all kinds of miracles seem to show themselves to you about how the world works and what you can do to manipulate the world. But later on, you lose the will to do that because the world doesn't mean that much to you anymore. There's no need to adjust the world anymore or yourself. Just be. You're just a natural man now, whatever term that means to you. Just try to find out what you are like when you're not engaged in the world. And instead, engaged either in finding yourself or being yourself. And the strange thing is, there is no self. You'll never find it within. Not in the sense that you can name it. You can be it, but you refuse to, to, to verbalize it because that makes it wrong. You try to bring the ineffable into the effable to satisfy your need to understand. But you won't understand really until you let go and just be. Every moment, just be. And it's not going to be a moment of ecstasy, but it'll be increasing moments of feeling yourself in peace, feeling the energies in you moving around that occurs during a certain part of your sadhana. You're trying to get to the point of nothingness, where there's no longer anything going on in you other than just resting in yourself. And in this state, you really have something that makes life a gift instead of a trudge. Get out of your mind. Instead, go into nothingness, where you look for nothing, you seek for nothing, and you just rest in your own experience of your body and all the other faculties that you have as a sentient being, all the levels of darkness and light within, all of them that you can pass through on the way towards resting in you. There's no need to become anything other than you are. There's no spiritual advancement towards godhood. It's just an advancement towards being yourself without all the concepts and words crowding your mind all the time. That throws up a barrier between you and your experiences and you and the environment, including all other people. In order to become this natural self with a zero state, you can't have any other ambition other than just learning how to be oneself. That permeates you always, is a resting in your own self through searching for your own self, through searching your body sensations, searching your lungs, your butt and legs, feeling the kind of energies they feel, the pulsing of energies or expansion or contraction of them inside your body. And then also noticing the light within, that darkness, the light of consciousness within the darkness. And after doing that, giving up altogether the search for who you are and what you are and just being what you are. And when you know what you are, it's not a knowing, it's a being. It transitions from knowing to being. The knowing has to go. It's only a tool by which you can explore your own emptiness. But when you rest in that emptiness, you're at infinite peace. Now, with that, are there any questions or answers or taunts or expletives? So many people are dark today. I guess they're all sleeping and they don't want us to see that. I can see Vasilina in a chair somewhere in Bulgaria, sitting up with eyes closed. For some reason, she doesn't want anybody to see what she's like doing. However, Michael and Maxie and Spencer and Raju are cowards, and you're not showing yourself because they're all sleeping. Maxie, I'm now using your coffee pot to make my own coffee in the morning. It's much quicker than the full brewing method I usually used. Any questions? Any derisive comments to make? Any complaints about how long satsang is or too short? Look at how peaceful Veselina looks. She looks like she could be in bliss, or else it's just our projection from looking at her smiling face. Are you in bliss, Veselina?
No, but I feel better than I have been feeling for the last month.
Really?
Yeah. I'm happier.
Oh, that's nice. That's good. Good testimony, too, for the method of forgetting about everything, like wanting to have a family. What's life like going to be after I graduate? How much stress is going to be there when I actually have to do a job? You see, going to work may become a happy place from you for you, but it's only because you're fooling yourself You jack yourself up to face another day at work as if there's something meaningful that's happening, and there isn't. You're just participating in the world, the normal world, and would leave it all behind. Have nothing to do, nothing to explore, just fucking relax. Just rest and see what life is like from the resting position instead of that of an actor or an explorer or a doer or a worker. You are more than your work. Your consciousness itself, as well as being a body, as well as being the world that contains that body. The kinds of identifications are infinite. It's all one. But you can make 1,000 or 100,000 or 100 million connections within that one. So instead, make no connections and see what's there. And at first, it may seem boring until you really achieve it. And then it's so infinitely restful. Ages ago, when I first started spirituality, I thought that there was a great task lying before me, finding enlightenment and understanding. But I think there are many more things that you find that are more important, like self acceptance and acceptance of others. You just rest in yourself and you act in response to other people as equals, not as a number one or number two or anything like that, but you just react to them like they were you. And doing that step is really a step towards rest rather than the panic of being a human being locked in the world that's terminal at both ends and just a bunch of action in the middle. And instead, being open to the end. Because I talked to you about the end to knowing and the yes to infinite being. There are levels of existence within you for you to explore. And you can't even call them levels anymore because that's a concept. It's not like levels at all, it's different. You become an explorer of beingness until the exploring runs out and you just be. Just be. Any questions? Comments? Challengers?
Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome. What are you thanking me for?
Once again, for what you do, whatever that is, to create this time and space such that I do whatever that is.
Good for you. Good way to put it. Bernadette, how are you feeling now?
Very rested, just relaxed, nice. This was very, very nice.
When you turn your attention around from the world into yourself, what's it like for you?
I feel my body, and I feel what helps me is the energy. I feel the life energy, I guess. What feels just like, I don't know, there's so much activity in every cell, and it's energetic, but I'm not doing it. And so it kind of just mesmerizes me and helps me stay relaxed and out of my mind. It's just very, very pleasant. That's what I've been feeling here.
Chris looks like he's dead, so I won't ask him. Mark, what about you? As a very, very advanced student.
Thank you, Edgy. I appreciate the acknowledgement. I have very good satsang. I really resonated with something that you said earlier, and like I enjoyed the whole thing, but you said that nothingness is not nothingness, it's everythingness. And I've been talking about that for a while. Like, you know, this nothingness is permeated with a whole lot of stuff. It's not nothingness. It's nothingness from the standpoint of, let's say, the body and the mind and the world. But it's, like you said, everythingness. And I also think that you have criticized Robert's thing when he says you are Brahman. But I think that one of the things he's implying is that nothingness is everythingness through that statement. That's just my personal take on it, because you are Brahman means you are indistinct, you are actually the totality of all that exists. You are not a separate body, mind in an indifferent universe, indifferent world, or hostile or even friendly world. You are literally the totality of everything. You cannot separate out where you end. Like, you're everything. And I also want to add that I've been doing a lot of research, and there are many very prominent physicists and scientists that are theorizing that consciousness is fundamental to reality. In other words, everything is made up of consciousness, and consciousness does not derive from, let's say, matter or from biological entities. And I think, that's very interesting, very interesting. And the reason why physicists and scientists are hypothesizing this is because biology is a dead end as far as explaining what gives rise to consciousness. There's no answers there. So this idea that consciousness is a thought or is a product of the brain or of the body, mind, whatever, there's no proof. So I like when someone asks me, do you think that consciousness comes out of the brain or dies with the body and stuff? I go, I have my own view on it, but there's no evidence either way. So I simply do not know. And that is a perfectly intelligent way to be, to not know. Show me the evidence, proving one side or the other, and I may change. But in the meantime, I do not know. But thank you for calling me very advanced. That's nice to hear. So yeah, that's all I really want to say. Nice Satsang, Edgy. Your beard is trimmed. Things are good.
Tom, how about you?
It's me?
Yes.
I don't
Are you
know
surprised? You shocked?
Well, we had talked before, so I thought I'd been checked off the list. What's your question? Did you have a question for me?
No. Just tell me about you.
Very comfortable today. I found myself remembering times when I've experienced great joy in the presence of teachers. Quite astonishing experience.
You all look kind of peaceful to me. Or you're asleep. I don't know which. And it's good. To be at peace with yourself in this world is quite a gift. The search is over. Just be yourself. And don't worry about that sentence too much because it can just fuck you up trying to figure out what is he talking about. Be myself. And I don't know what myself is. That's right. You're the unknown. You're the source of the shit that's going on in the world. Own it. You're all part of it. And you don't escape it until you really own it. That understanding isn't part of the solution at all. The solution is to lose yourself into yourself. Just fucking relax. Fall backwards into yourself. That's what I used to imagine it was like. But find out for yourself what it's like for you. Explore your mind, explore your experiences, explore your conclusions, and then let go of all of it. Just be yourself. You know, people for centuries have looked at our great spiritual teachers and our monks with awe and kind of desire to experience their state. But the state that they've got is one of statelessness, infinite possibilities and openness. So you can never say there's a state, because there's too much going on to be a steady state. It's all chaos from one point of view. And you can't really hold on to that. And at the same time, you can't settle down for any conclusion within it that ignores all that's going on around you. But it's really great to just fucking relax into yourself and just watch all of these things going on. The mind, your body, the lights, the shadows that you see, the images, sounds that you hear, feelings that come up within. Exploring the feeling of being alive inside your body and inside the muscles. And how you can feel more and more alive just by relaxing into your own experience instead of thinking about what should be done next. You become a natural man without words, without concepts, without understanding.
I'm starting to have more moments of pure beingness where the power is absolutely overwhelming. And it's not the power to do anything. It's just simply the power to be. The life force just exploding through me, just sitting on Columbus Avenue, having a muffin and just watching. And the miracle of the manifest Shakti, God, bliss, is just starting to, it's what you did today, what you said about exploring beingness until the exploring stops and you just hit beingness, and then it just takes it. I mean, it doesn't take you anywhere, but it puts you down somewhere in something that is exquisite. Amness, not I amness, not mine, just grace. I love you. What you bring to this Sangha in this world is just extraordinary, Ajit. There are no words. That we are blessed. Just, I love you. You are my beloved, and there are no words. But what you do to me, what you did today, and what you do in every satsang is Shakti Pat Sadhana. You do it, and you did it again, and I feel.
I really delight hearing from you.
I love you so, really. I can't. And it gets deeper.
Your
I didn't
devotion
know
is unbelievable.
I didn't know that Mark used to put me back on the rails and say that there were things I was aware of that I wasn't aware that I was aware of, and I love him for that. But yes, wow.
Messalina went dark. I guess she wants to nod off all the way.
You take my breath away. I'm crumbled, crushed at your feet. You are my beloved, and you did it again today.
Thank you. Chris, do you have any comments?
Just thank you. Once again, I need to keep coming back here to constantly or help me relax.
Yeah.
It helps me recharge my relax, if that it sounds kind of contradictory, recharge
No,
my
I
relax.
understand completely. I think we all
And
do.
your message of the last several satsangs of transitioning from mind to body, from thinking to feeling, is such a powerful and helpful message. I can hear it in everybody, but I'm just going to speak for myself. I was a thinker, am a thinker. And I realized by doing what you're saying to do here, how over time, over my life, my mind had become the dominant position or perspective of my life, and feeling had become so atrophied. But here, I'm slowly, and as you help me, and when I say you, I mean everyone, you help me and be with me, and I'm with you. I feel awakening of my feeling. And the mind, though, is so ever present, so powerful, but so contracting and so constraining and so punishing. But I've had moments, I resonate with Jay. I have moments and times where, like last night, I just felt so free. And Bernadette and I have this joke going on about myself that, like Pinocchio, I was wooden, but I'm slowly becoming a real boy. And that's really, I mean, that's what it sounds, that's what it feels like. To slowly become real and not a caricature, and a mind, a cage, to become free of that, freer of that, is a glorious, wonderful experience that I'm only getting glimpses of incrementally. But I need to keep coming here to keep that momentum going, because I said this to you, I feel like it's a slow slog to get through the mud of my mind, but when I relax, like you do here, it's a beautiful, wonderful world of nothing or everything, and emptiness and peace. Even when I'm not fully down there, when I'm just observing my mind and observing my tensions as separate, that's also glorious, because I'm not in them. I'm observing them. I'm aware of them. So that's my thing. And if I would just say, someone asked me in a word, how do you feel? I would say I feel good. But good there's so much behind that word good. The good means I feel growth. I feel progress. I feel a deepening transition. But there's a lot of mind there still. But I feel hope, and I feel good that I feel the just happiness of a transition, of where the freedom that I can glimpse.
That's the gift, freedom and happiness. It's the gift of being resting in yourself, in your body, in your psyche, in your consciousness.
the freedom from my mind. That's what it feels. I feel when it feels so explosive when I have those moments of freedom. It's just the energy that was constraining me is liberated, and I just feel alive. Like I said, I feel like a real boy sometimes. And but I need to keep coming here to keep the process going. So thank you. And thank you,
Well, you're
everybody.
welcome.
And Mark,
Thank you for coming. Your presence is delightful.
Everyone's is delightful. And Jay, your passion. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Okay. Enough is enough. It's time to go to sleep now. Just relax. 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 And take care.